China will boost its defense spending by 7.2% this year, fueling a military budget that has more than doubled under President Xi Jinping's 11 years in office as Beijing hardens its stance on Taiwan, according to official reports on Tuesday. The increase mirrors the rate presented in last year's budget and again comes in well above the government's economic growth forecast for this year. China also officially adopted tougher language against Taiwan as it released the budget figures, dropping the mention of peaceful reunification in a government report delivered by Premier Li Qiang at the opening of the National People's Congress (NPC), China's rubber-stamped parliament, on Tuesday. Tensions have risen sharply in recent years over Taiwan, the democratically ruled island that China claims is its own, and elsewhere across East Asia as regional military deployments rise. Li Mingzhong, a defense scholar at the Rajaratnam School of International Studies (RSIS) in Singapore, said that despite China's struggling economy, Taiwan is a major consideration in Beijing's defense spending. China is showing that in the coming decade, it wants to grow its military to the point where it is prepared to win a war if it has no choice but to fight one, Li said. Since Xi became president and commander-in-chief more than a decade ago, the defense budget has ballooned to 1.67 trillion yuan, $230 billion this year from 720 billion yuan in 2013. The percentage rise in military spending has consistently outpaced the annual domestic economic growth target during his time in office. This year the growth target for 2024 is about 5%, similar to last year's goal, according to the government report. The defense budget is closely watched by China's neighbors and the United States, who are wary of Beijing's strategic intentions and the development of its armed forces. Based on data from the London-based International Institute for Strategic Studies (IISS), this year's budget marks the 30th consecutive year of Chinese defense spending increases. Japanese government spokesperson Yoshimasa Hayashi on Tuesday urged greater openness from Beijing, warning of serious international concerns. China's continuous military spending increases without sufficient transparency were the greatest strategic challenge ever to ensure the peace and stability of Japan and the international community and strengthen international order, Hayashi said in Tokyo. South Korea's defense ministry declined to comment. Australia's defense ministry did not immediately respond to a request for comment. James Char, a security scholar at the RSIS, said that despite the defense budget's outpacing GDP growth, it had remained at about 1.3% of the overall gross domestic product in the last decade and had put no stress on the national coffers. Of course, the country's longer-term economic fortunes will determine whether this can be sustained going forward, Char said. Soldiers of the People's Liberation Army (PLA) march in formation past Tiananmen Square during a rehearsal before a military parade marking the 70th founding anniversary of the People's Republic of. Purchase licensing rights, opens a new tab. Read more. The purchase of new equipment is likely to take up the largest single chunk of the budget as the military works to meet Xi's goal of full modernization by 2035, the IISS said in research published last month. That push continues across several fronts, with China producing weapons ranging from warships and submarines to drones and advanced missiles that can be equipped with both nuclear and conventional warheads. Char said tighter management would also be a priority for military leadership after high-profile personnel purges related to weapons procurement. The Central Military Commission, China's top military body, last July ordered a clean-up of the procurement process and invited the public to report irregularities. The commission has not announced the results of its investigation, but at least 9 generals, including 4 directly in charge of procurement, have been stripped of their title as parliamentarians, a necessary procedure before they can be charged in court. 2 former defense ministers, Li Shangfu and Wei Feng, have also gone missing without explanation, which in China often means they are under investigation. Li had been in charge of military procurement from 2017 to 2022. When asked whether Li would attend the parliament sessions, parliament spokesman Lu Qingjian told Singapore paper Lian Xiaobao on Monday that Li cannot attend because he is no longer a delegate. In the government work report, China reiterated a call for reunification with Taiwan but added emphasis that it wants to be firm in doing so and dropped the descriptor peaceful, which had been used in previous reports. Although it is not the first time that China has omitted the word peaceful, the language change is closely watched as a possible sign of a more assertive stance towards Taiwan. Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council on Tuesday urged China to accept the fact that the two sides are not subordinate to each other and urged China to create healthy cross-strait exchanges. The island's defense minister had said on Tuesday that Taiwan's armed forces would increase the number of missile drills they hold this year. Wen Song, a political scientist and fellow at the Atlantic Council, said that the language in Taiwan has moderately hardened. Beijing appears to be balancing between projecting increased toughness on Taiwan with stabilizing relations with Taiwan's international friends, he said. After the Democratic Progressive Party's Lai Ching-te won the presidential election in Taiwan, the Chinese Communist Party's fourth-ranked leader, Wang Huning, said at a high-level Taiwan policy meeting last month that China would resolutely combat any efforts towards Taiwan independence this year. Previous statements from the annual meeting only vowed to resolutely oppose Taiwan's independence. $1 equals 7.1987 Chinese yuan renminbi. Please do us a favor. Follow and subscribe to our channel for more updates. We always have your back.